What's up guys, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to try making my first cutting board because I see people selling those online. The purpose of all this equipment is to do home improvement, but at the same time, if I can make money on the side with these machines, that would be good. So I see people making cutting boards online and selling them for like $50 and stuff. So I'm going to attempt making one today using pine wood. So they don't recommend using pine wood for cutting board, but because it's too soft, and then the knife is gonna cut down the groove and stuff and then damage it. But for practice purpose, I'm gonna make a cutting board out of pine because it's cheaper. I do not want to spend money on expensive wood, and it doesn't turn out right. But that's my first attempt, pine wood cutting board. So let me go grab a piece of pine. So I bought this piece of pine. It's rough sawn. I just bought it at the lumber mill, and I paid like $1 for this. No, I paid like, this cost me $1 per board foot. So a board foot is a new measurement that they use. I don't know anything about it. So like they measure this side, the thickness times the width times the length, and then this end up to like 3 board feet. So I paid like $3 something for this piece of wood. So it's rough wood, it's not smooth. So that's why I bought this planer, that I can buy the rough wood cheap and then plane it down myself. So hopefully this works out right. So this, see, another thing why pine isn't ideal, pine has all these little nuts and stuff in there, these little bumps that's gonna come out in the product. So, but for practice purpose, I'm gonna use it. I already think about my measurement, the length of the board. I want it to be 13 inches by, the width I could make it like 11 inches wide by 13 inches long. Alright, just as a small cutting board. That way if I'm going to be like shipping them, I have like a standard size that can fit in like the USPS boxes easily. You know the little mailbox, that's one size box that ships, if it fits a chip box that USPS has. Yeah, so I'm thinking about those because I look at the size they have and I'm like, if I'm going to make these, if people actually want to buy them, then I'm going to be able to ship them and depend based on the size of the boxes just to keep prices down for me shipping it. So I don't know what I'm going to sell them for as yet. I don't know if they're going to sell, but this is my first attempt making one from a cheap wood, which is pine wood. So I'm going to cut this down to 14 inches. So the board is going to be 13 inches long, but I'm going to cut it 14 inches. That way I can shave off the edges of it if anything. So I'm gonna use this saw to do this, but let me just measure this up first and see how best to go about this. Alright guys, I've decided to speed this up and cut out a bunch of pieces out of it. This overall video was over 3 hours long and I cut it down to 20 minutes, so yeah, spare you the drama. Right here I am cutting up this wood into 14 inches long strip, and from there I will be running these through the planer just to get them smooth, and after getting them smooth then I will be cutting them up into little 1-inch strips. Alright, if you know anything about woodwork and I did that wrong, please comment below. Tell me where to go, tell me how to do this properly. Alright, because it's a learning process for me right now, so just guide me. So now I have these pieces ripped down. I have these ripped down to the length that I want. I'm just gonna plane them off in this little planer. It's a bit noisy, so stand by. Alright guys, this is where I'm running these pieces of wood through the planer or thickness planer, whichever name, just to get them smooth. Once these are done smoothing, then I'll go back to the saw. Alright guys, I decided to put my COVID mask on, but it's a dust mask. If it can stop COVID, I guess it can stop dust. So here I'm ripping down the pieces of board into 1-inch strips, 1 inches. Then I'll be gluing these back together. So that's what I see them doing it. They cut it up, then they glue it back together. I guess that stop it from warping, because most times wood would move. So if you have a piece of wood, straight flat sawn wood, then it warps into like a cup. But if you cut it up, glue it back together a particular way, then you won't have that warping over time. Alright guys, so now that we have all these woods smooth and ripped down, it's time to arrange this into a board pattern. So because all of them is one color, it doesn't matter. It's just to flip it up that they're all turning the same way. All the grain is running the same way. It's all gonna matter now in order for them to be glued together. Alright guys, so now that I've arranged these in the way that I wanted, I grabbed these clamps that I bought at Home Depot. They're online as well at Amazon if you guys want to buy them. And then from here I spread these out, apply the glue, and then I clamp them and put them to dry. So you can use anything to spread this glue, like an old paintbrush or foam brush, whatever the case may be, or your fingers, just something to get the glue dry. And then once you have enough glue on it, you clamp them up. So you gotta tighten the clamp until you see the glue squeezing out of the joints. That's so it's gonna be strong after everything is dried. So you're gonna put this down to dry for like 10 hours or overnight. So as you see me, I left this to dry, and I come back the following day. So this is in the day, you see me working here. I put these to dry, and then I come back in the night and remove them from the clamp and finish the project. So right now you see me trying to get them flat. That way once it's clamped up and dry, I don't end up with a problem later. So this is how I see them doing it. And once this is dried, then I have to run it back through the planer to get it smooth, because it's always hard to align everything properly that is level just the way you want it. So now the board is like 1 inch thick now, and then once you run it through the planer a few times, the finished board is like 3/4 of an inch thick. So that's it do. But it's always recommended, once you're gluing up, just remove the excess glue that's squeezing out of the board. You see the glue mark on the side. Remove those, because once it's dry, it's gonna be a problem to get it off. So you remove it before, and later you don't have the problem. So that's just water that I'm using to clean the glue off of the wood. So that won't affect it because it's water. What do you call it? Water. Alright guys, so this has been drying for about 10 hours. So this is pretty much good to come out. So if this was done properly, it should stay together and not break apart on me, which I think it was done good. Alright guys, so now I got this out of the clamp. I set this planer to get this all smoothed down, just to get rid of the joint marks, and then That's pretty much it. So I run this through a few times just to take a little bit off the top each time it passed through, just a little bit. And then once it's finally smooth, it's time to start the sanding process. So as you can look here, guys, it's nice and smooth and shiny. Look at it, it's so smooth. But it's not finished there as yet, because now you have to sand everything out of it, just to get the wood nice and smooth. So this is the hardest part of it, sanding. This takes up a few minutes. Well, this takes a long time to sand. So first you gotta sand it with like 80 grit sandpaper, so that's a rough sandpaper. And then you gotta sand it with like 120 all sides. So this is what I do. I mark it with a pencil, and then once you sand it, when the pencil is gone, that's a layer that's removed. And if it's still not feeling level or not feeling smooth enough, then you mark it with the pencil again and take off another level. So you got to do that a few times, then flip it over, do the sides as well. So that's pretty much a lot of work, because if you look on the sides now, you can see that it's all jaggedy. And now that I'm done sanding, I cut this down to the size that I wanted. So I cut out the two edges, and then that's pretty much it for this board. Alright, and then once I'm done getting this size that I want here, I will have to go and sand this again, like sand forever. So that's the least favorite part of building this, is that you have to do a lot of sanding, and sanding takes time. I don't know if somebody likes sanding, but I don't like it. So that's the worst part of it. And then I got this Ryobi what's this, rotor, just to round the edges of the board. Alright, so I don't want the board to be square. I just give it a little round over effect, just to aesthetic really, so it doesn't really add anything to the board. And then as I go along, I try to clean up, because it's a lot of dust. As I say, woodwork, sawdust, it's a lot. I never knew that woodworking would generate so much dust, but it's a lot of dust. As you can see on my clothes there, it's really messy, so I try to clean up as I go along, just to minimize all that drama that is there. Alright, so once I'm done with the 80 grit, now I'm going on to the 120 just to get it all smooth, and then I just sand until eternity. It's just a lot of work. So I don't know, can I manage this? Alright guys, if you're joining me for the first time, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel, because in my next woodwork video I will be giving away a cutting board. So I've been doing this enough now to start doing production where I can actually sell it and give it to somebody and be comfortable that I give somebody a good product. So after sanding like forever, this is how you finish the board. Normally if somebody is building a furniture, they use varnish to cover the board, but because people will be touching this on their food, you can't use varnish. You use so this is food grade mineral oil. Alright, so you use the mineral oil to finish it, and look at the colors just come out in it. As you can see, a few minutes ago we were sanding on some rough, ugly looking wood, and now that it's done sanding and the food grade mineral oil is applied to it, look at the finish. It's a beautiful board. Alright, but this one is made from pine wood, and that is not recommended, but this one being my first board, I will keep this. Alright guys, look for at this myself. One. Look at the finished product. This is it. Look at the sheen. Look at it glistening. Look at the grain. This is the back of it. Man, after this I feel like I'm a pro at making cutting boards. Alright, so I think I'm gonna go into full production mode now. Make some nice cutting board. Alright, so oh, by the way, this is where this came from. So can you imagine that I turned this ugly piece of board into this masterpiece? Huh? So this is what I used. And it turned into this. So if you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe, and tell a friend to join the Martin crew. And my next build, when I'm building nicer ones, I'm gonna have a giveaway. Alright, so it's not gonna be for Christmas. Christmas will be long gone, but I'm gonna make some boards, put them out for sale, and I'm gonna give away one from the batch that I make. Alright, and I'm gonna give you guys the rules as I was to do that. Alright, again, so don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel, and see you in the next video.